Mark heard a couple of the shots thwack into the big oak tree and 2 or 3 others go whistling by. Again, the sound of each shot came a split second later. Whoever was shooting at them was a good distance away. Mark dropped down on his hands and knees and peeked around the tree trunk. There was a slight rise up to a ridgeline about 400 yards in front of him. He felt like an idiot. It had never occurred to him that the intruders might leave someone behind them. He wondered why they would do that. Another bullet ripped into the tree, spraying bark across Mark's face. He pulled himself back behind the safety afforded by the ancient hardwood. Maybe, he thought, I should worry about why later. He rolled to the other side of the tree and sent 4 of his own bullets back toward whoever was up there. He had no idea where to aim, but maybe he could get the attacker to give away his position. He watched for a second, and several bullets came a little too close for comfort. He pulled his head back and cursed under his breath. He hadn't seen a thing, only now, from the different sounds, he knew there were 2 or more people shooting at them, and at least one of them had some skill. One rifle made a cracking sound, and the other had more of a boom. The shooters weren't wasting any shots either. They only fired when they had a target, and they weren't missing by much. Mark looked at where each member of his team was. Everyone was behind good cover except for Chris. She was down in a patch of weeds that looked like they'd grown up since the grass was cut. It probably kept her out of the sight of the shooters, but it certainly wouldn't stop a bullet. Chris, he called, only loud enough for her to hear. Yes, Mark. I want you to move behind this tree across from me. He pointed to a tree about 10 yards from him as he spoke. Wait until I tell you to go. Okay. Everyone else, when I say go, I want you to shoot 3 or 4 shots at the top of the ridge. It's a long way, so turn up the elevation on your sights a little. Everyone gave him an affirmative response. Okay, ready, go. He stuck his rifle out and fired 3 shots. He saw Chris out of his peripheral vision, and when she was behind the tree, he pulled his head back around. Now that everyone was safe, he needed to come up with a plan to retreat, or as Gunny so appropriately called it, to de-ass the area. If he could figure out where the shooters were, they could use covering fire and pull back 3 at a time. He pulled the binoculars out of his pack. Chris, catch, he said as he tossed them to her. When I shoot, I want you to see if you can see where these guys are. You got it, boss. Mark stuck his head back out and let 2 shots fly, he hoped, in the right direction. He pulled his noggin back just in time for a bullet to hit the tree, and another buzzed by angrily. He looked over to Chris. I saw one of them. He's at about 130, just below the top, behind a pile of rocks, she said. Mark stuck half his head out the left side of the tree, just far enough to see with one eye. He saw the spot Chris had reported. He still needed to find the other guy. Okay, one more time. Look for the other one, he told her. He switched his rifle to his left shoulder and squatted down. He shot from the low left side of the tree. He didn't want to give them the same target they'd come so close to hitting a minute ago. He shot 4 quick shots at the rock pile and must have come close enough, even left-handed. He saw dust fly, and the man behind the rocks ducked down. He came back behind the natural barricade long before a return bullet hit the ground 4 feet away. Anything? Chris nodded her head. There are 2 of them behind a log about 50 yards left of and a little below the first guy. One has a scoped rifle, and the other one looked like he was talking into a radio.